I make what's kind of known as Bhangra music, which is from Punjab and stuff, and it's got like British influence. And I think it's a big thing for Coventry and stuff, because I've always said in my music that Coventry is like kind of in the centre of the world, you know. It's like the middle of England, and it's like in between America and like India, you know, right in the middle and stuff. So, you know, I always see like England as the middle of the world and Coventry in the middle of the world as well. So to me, it's like I've always kind of noticed a lot of people from Coventry like into fusion and stuff, you know, so kind of getting bombarded from all directions by different influences. So leads to kind of a very fused sound, you know. So Coventry's always had that kind of fused sound. And that's where Bhangra kind of fits in really nicely, which is a fusion of kind of everything, really.
Don't think two-tone could have come from anywhere else at all. I'm categorical about that. The whole idea of racially integrated bands was so natural to us, we didn't think about it. It was only when we'd done it, we thought, oh, we're doing something special here. So it's had a huge effect, yeah, in lots of ways. Yeah, just the whole way of so many people like myself, white people, have received reggae at an early age. Not many towns do that, really.
There was something uniquely Coventry about the specials, which there wasn't about the Avengers or the Sorrows or the Matadors, even Don Farn. There was nothing uniquely Coventry, yet there definitely was with the specials. Absolutely unique. It's whether it could have happened in any other city, I doubt. But it, you know, and I think that's why they went on to become, you know, such an enormous success.
Coventry band didn't know how good it was to be from Coventry. For instance, Georgie Fame told me, and Steve Packett and all these different bands, you know, who I played. Chris Farlow, you played with them. You from Coventry? Boy, what an audience! The hardest audience to satisfy, and this was true. And they when I played with them here, they can understand. Jimmy Cliff, all of them, they couldn't understand how you get an applause after a song. And they couldn't get it. But they wanted to, when they wanted to play in Coventry, because they said if they get a return booking in Coventry or they went down well, then they did well.
Coventry is always tough. The toughest city if you play in Coventry and you can win Coventry crowd over, you'll make it. We had some tough nights in Coventry. Very tough nights.
I think there's an urban quality to a lot of the music that's come from Coventry, which comes probably could only come from a town that was full of car factories at the time. There's a particular kind of person and a particular kind of family and community that grows up around a manufacturing industry, I think. And you could almost taste that in Coventry, I think, in the 80s when King first started off. And the specials, I think, were a product of that too. So I heard somebody say once, Coventry is a place that no one's from. You know, people came from everywhere to Coventry for the work, but they weren't from Coventry. And that gives the place a particular kind of flavour, I think, particularly when it's all based around one industry and everybody that's worked, well, everyone, a lot of people that are doing the work in the area are all doing the same thing. So they've got that in common, and they've got the place in common, even though they haven't got, at that point, a heritage in common. And I think that kind of, the disparate nature of the people gives rise to a particular kind of music, and the specials was certainly part of that, and I think King were too.
We weren't writing songs about Cov, sort of going, let's write songs about Cov. You know, we were writing tunes about our mates, but all our mates live in Cov and are affected by everything that happens in Cov. So, yeah, I mean, essentially we were writing about our life in Cov. You know, and every tune on that first album has got a bit of Cov in it. Do you know what I mean? The second album's a bit more worldly because we were dotting all over the place, but that first album is Cov.
I think growing up in Coventry and having Coventry in my psyche, so to speak, has definitely influenced my outlook on life. And in that respect, it will obviously influence things. You know, if you meet people who have come from, like the Buzzcocks, when the Flyers play with the Buzzcocks, for example, they're all Manchester lads and stuff like that. they seemed more kind of clued in those days, you know. And certainly living in Los Angeles, people were kind of more comfortable with their kind of pretension. So I was a bit of a rookie at being pretentious, so it all came over, you know, really screwed up. You know what I mean? That there's a New York thing, there's a Los Angeles thing, there's a London thing, there's a Birmingham thing. I don't think there's ever been, in my experience, a kind of a Coventry thing, which is good in one respect, but it made it difficult to get a scene together, if you like, because it was always a Manchester thing. So the Buzzcocks were always like, "I like we're Manx," you know, and Oasis have got that, haven't they? You know, it's like backs against the wall. We're from Manchester, and it's cool. The Beatles had that with the Liverpool thing, and there's something kind of quaintly parochial about Coventry. It's where you come home to, isn't it? When you're really screwed up somewhere else, and I kind of like that.